Hello there, it's been a while. I'm back, and yep, Edinburgh again. Since I just moved to Bournemouth, my trip started there with a coach ride. I couldn't really rely on the train to London, especially as I was taking another train from there all the way up to Edinburgh. We got into London early in the morning. This time the transport was a bit chaotic, but I get into that later in the video. As usual, we grabbed our coffee and rushed to the tube to catch the 9:30 train. Anyway, long story short, our original ticket got cancelled because of the weather. Classic. So we had to book another one. While waiting for the train, I wandered over to the famous spot, this time closely. So the guy in the uniform on the train told us the train was stopping in Newcastle, not going to Edinburgh. Brilliant. But hey, plot twist, it did keep going. Problem was, every other train had been cancelled, so everyone ended up on ours. It was absolutely packed. Seats, aisles, even the floor. Like the entire UK households, basically. Everyone just looked exhausted. It was more like a survival mission. And it was dragging along painfully slow that delayed us by almost an hour. Anyway, once we set foot in Edinburgh, everything felt chill and normal again. Before heading to the hotel, I had to pop by John Lewis to collect something, so I rushed there before it closed since we arrived a bit late. Then we walked about 20 minutes to the hotel. Actually, it was a service apartment. Everything had fallen a bit behind since we arrived late in town, but we still made it to the restaurant in time for our booking. We never tried raw oysters before, so we thought it'd be a good chance to give them a go here. And I actually like them. Not something I crave, but I wouldn't say no if the chance comes up again. But the highlight was definitely the lobster. The meat was tender and super fresh, and the price was really reasonable for a dish like that. I'd definitely go back there again. There was still sunlight even at night, which made me feel like the day wasn't over yet. The next stop was the Johnny Walker Bar on Princess Street. We were hoping to enjoy the rooftop view of Edinburgh, but unfortunately the balcony was closed because of the windy weather. What a day. They had a bunch of Johnny Walker cocktails. I'm not really into whiskey, so I was hesitant. But I tried the passion fruit chipotle, and wow, surprisingly good. Just the right whiskey kick, and the spices on the glass made it even more fun. I sipped and tasted the spices again and again. After that, we headed back to the flat. I didn't take any video of our room, but the lounge was peaceful and quiet at night, just like that. The weather folks said it might rain, so we did a quick raincoat shopping. Luckily, it was on sale, so a good deal for us. I decided to film every dog I came across on this trip, so here's the first one. Right, today's plan was to ride the Alpine coaster I spotted on Instagram. The town was already busy in the morning. Well, it wasn't super early, but still. At the point, I had no idea that the festival Fringe was such a huge deal happening all over the city. I just love taking double-decker buses in England. They give such a great view of the surroundings. The weather wasn't too bad actually. It was really working in our favor for this little adventure. Just look at the sky and the mountains. I wish Scotland could always be this sunny. And so began our short trek. It wasn't very steep, taking us about 20 minutes to reach the top. So we're getting close to the destination. We already booked our tickets online, so we didn't have to queue for long, which was a bonus. What a fantastic idea to build a ride here. The seats are made for two, so you can enjoy it alone or with someone. The ride wasn't very fast or scary, and I was really glad there wasn't even a single raindrop. The view was amazing. I highly recommend it if you visit. Totally worth it. Next on the agenda was a visit to a shop that sells food from my country. It honestly felt like stepping back into the corner shop of my hometown, packed with all the familiar food. Please don't judge me. I had 2 portions of this stretchy gravy noodles. So yummy! And here we were, back in town. Posters for shows were everywhere. Stand-up comedy, stage performances, musicals, magic acts. More than 20 shows were happening every hour across the city. Another doggy was spotted. We headed towards the old town where most of the venues and street performances were. Honestly, it was hard to decide where to go. Everything looked interesting. But since we missed most of the afternoon, our options were limited. By almost 6 p.m, the sun was still shining. We stopped for a quick drink on the way and planned to catch our first stand-up comedy show. But unfortunately, we missed it, so that would be for tomorrow. After that, we just wandered around the town. It was really busy. We stopped to watch a street performance last act of the day. They mixed stunts with comedy and it was so entertaining.
We're all going to go crazy. We're going to finish off the show. This is the most difficult part. I will need silence. Which has an audience you're very good at. It's true. Watch this. Here we go. This racket to the ground in the wind. Works go crazy with. And the noise you all just made, whoa, a lot less helpful than you think. When the racket hits the There's one, there's two, there's three, there's a massive cheer for Scotland! Here we go! They're going up. Here we go. Let's do this. Here we go.
Yeah!
At every corner of the city, there were performances happening. People were also handing out flyers and shouting to promote their shows. The whole place felt so alive. Oh, and another dog. Then, from a distance, we heard someone singing Phantom of the Opera, and there he was, performing in the street. There was another popular venue programmed with a series of shows. It was part of Edinburgh and that was the Cowgate venue, one of the main Fringe venues where you can check out scheduled shows. When I was last here in December, I couldn't really enjoy the narrow alleys. But this time, with warm, dry weather, it was perfect for walking around and exploring the city's little corners. For dinner, we picked a random Italian restaurant. The food was delicious with generous portions, and that was the wrap. The streets were already buzzing with performance and crowds. This spot was mainly for street acts, but everywhere you looked, there were little creative activities and artsy things to join in on. So wherever you go, there's a crowd. People heading to shows or stopping for street performance. You will see this view a lot in my Edinburgh videos. It is one of the main streets leading to the old town, and you can stop right here for a brilliant panoramic view of Edinburgh Castle, the Scott Monuments, and all the other famous spots. First thing first, a quick stop for a coffee. I just couldn't resist one of their big croissants. Then we found these brilliant narrow steps that led us to the other side of the old town. Edinburgh itself isn't a massive city. You can tick off most of the big sites in a couple of days. But what's magical about it is that every time you visit the same spot, it feels different. So today's plan was a bit of a spooky one to start, a trip to the Edinburgh dungeon. The dungeon was set up like a kind of tour with different corridors in each room, all telling us about Scotland's dark and horrible history. This video will give you a better idea of the vibe.
Peasants. Now I suggest you keep your ears open and your mouths shut, for what I'm about to tell you may save your very souls. And innocent or guilty, the witch trials await you all. Into a stinking lair, you'll travel through sections that'll turn your smurder. If you make it through alive, you can go free from this wretched place. We promise. Welcome to the Edinburgh dungeon.
Not entirely sure what Bobby's doing here. The tour led us right into the souvenir shop afterward. Here's the thing about the Fringe. It's the biggest art festival on the planet. Every August, Edinburgh transforms completely. The streets are alive, people are cheerful, and the city feels like one giant celebration. Most of the shows we saw were like that. Okay, so we are in the old town now. There are street performances everywhere you look. We made our way back to Cowgate to check out a show, and I grabbed some japchae from one of the stalls there. The show was more of a comedy drama, some famous 90s songs, mostly alternative ones. It was a proper laugh, and the jokes were really relatable to our childhood, and we really enjoyed it.
1, 2, 3, throw it! That was pretty good. That was good. Everybody clap again.
It's free.
And of course, we had to do a bit of whiskey shopping. After that, we went back to the flat for a bit of a rest before going out for the night.
Baby, you're one of a kind. Give me affection, please. It's off the wall, but beautiful. Whatever you need, it's all okay with me. See how it goes. It's rock and roll. But whatever you need, it's all okay with me. Music playing clear and loud, I will try to make you proud. Give me affection, please. If you want me by your side, I'll be there until you die. Give me affection, please.
I don't know, whenever I see this, I feel dirty. Time for dinner. The whole city felt different after dark. The streets and buildings look more mature, almost like a whole other side of Edinburgh. We had a tequila shot before heading in. Yep, that was his show. It was interactive, cheeky, and really fun. And a hot dog for our midnight snack. Yes, one more dog is ordered on the way back. We walked back through narrow alleyways to the high street, and that closed out day 2.
Flashes in the dark, colors on.
The day kicked off with a proper English breakfast. I spotted the place online and it looked like a local favorite. Honestly, if we hadn't booked ahead, walking in would have been nearly impossible. I've been curious about this shop every time I passed by, and today I finally stepped inside. It was like walking into a little art house covered with decorations of the characters from the fairy tale stories we grew up with. So I couldn't resist. I picked up a tote bag painted with Peter Pan. And it was time for a bit more whiskey shopping. The glasses look really fascinating. They're more like decoration pieces. We ended up bringing home this little one. This performance was by far the most lively and engaging I had seen yet, and it was definitely worth pausing to watch until the end.
And I'd like to head up north or to the Isles. And we're interested in 2 weeks in Ibiza. To sleep all day and spend my nights out on the tiles. I've been working like a navvy all through winter. What my body craves just now is UV light. And they say God gazes favourably on Scotland. I just wish the sun would shine down just as bright. Cause we've got lines and hills, shopping mills and rivers full of fish, beaches, woods and fancy food and every night we rush. So theatre, opera, music and Oxford and song. We've got companies mostly here and folk. Scotland has it all. Very good, very good.
Third break. We squeezed in another comedy show, this time in a tiny karaoke studio. I had to record a bit because it was anxiously thrilling. Honestly, it felt like something straight out of a circus film. Oh, another doggy. And we stopped by another famous spot, the heart of Midlothian. The tradition is, if you spit on it, you get good luck. So I bought this little souvenir. It's called Island Cool. Pardon me if I pronounce it wrong. And he will stay with us until the end of the trip. In the evening, we went to Edinburgh University for an adult magic show. It was another big popular venue with scheduled performances taking place in the lecture theatres and even in the outdoor stadium. I didn't record anything, but they've got a promo video on their YouTube channel which I extracted some bits here, except the part with a naked man. Very cheeky. After the show, we wandered around the campus venue, which was still busy even at night. And then we went back to our flat to pack for the next day.
I will never let you down. Why don't you stay? My mind gets lost.
Before heading back, we still had an entire afternoon free, so we returned to the old town again to see a few more shows. But then came the twist. Our train was cancelled due to an accident in London, so we had to book an earlier one than planned. However, I still grabbed a proper ramen lunch in the old town. All in all, the trip was such a fun experience. I would definitely love to come back for next year's festival with more shows on my list. Thanks for sticking with me until the end of this trip. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.